What's up, guys? Today I'm going to show you guys how to do a little DIY bait keeper. Um, you know, on the EWG, sometimes it's nice to have a little bait keeper coming up. Keeps your frog in place. I already did one on this one, but you can see it, there's a little one right here, so you skip it and pitch it, cast way out there. You don't have to worry about your frog coming back down, having to reset it or doing a cast and it getting all messed up. So it just kind of keeps it in place. I also do it sometimes on my drop shot hooks. Usually like this kind of bait, I'm gonna nose hook, but the stuff I'm fishing is just nasty, mossy. I want to be able to Texas rig it, but I love this small hook. Even Texas rig like this, if I get the hook in them, these Spirit Point hooks are not letting go. So same thing, I just like to have that bait keeper right there, holds it in place. I've got the line tie right here for the drop shot so it doesn't go anywhere, and then I don't have to worry about every time having to reset that bait. So I'm just going to show you guys how to do it real quick. All you need is some super glue, whatever hook you're doing, some cheap braid. I just am using some 15 pound spider wire, easy braid, just whatever's cheap, whatever's handy. And then what I do is I take just a jig that's got a weed guard, and I just take one of these strands here and I just cut off one of these strands. So what I'm left with is just, a piece of strand. From there I'm going to bend it in half. Maybe. So I like to bend it in half. Kind of gets me the beginning of my bait keeper here. So I like to really cinch it down in there as much as I can, just so it gets as easy as possible. I don't know, I don't think it's really, can't really see that, but from there I kind of cut it to length. Usually it's about half. So from there, like I said, cut it. So I bent it in half, and then I'm going to cut it in half. So I'm just left with, about an inch or less of a bent in half trailer keeper. So from there, I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to my hook, just where I want it, just so it stays in place, it doesn't slide down later in use, and kind of just helps me through the process. So I just kind of throw a little bit of glue on there where it's going to sit, as well as on the other side for when I wrap it, to kind of just hold everything in place. Big shout out to Milliken Fishing. I actually watched his channel. He's got a really good video on how to do this as well that he made probably a few years ago. But pretty much stole the idea from him. Thought I'd make the same video just because it was so helpful to me. So, like I said, from there I've just got a little bit of glue, and then I'm just gonna place that bait keeper, or that strand, where I want the bait keeper to be. So get a little glue on my finger. It's alright. I'm just going to kind of hold it in place while that glue kind of sets in and does its thing. And from there I'm just going to take my braid and I'm going to just wrap it up. So I'll just kind of take it on one side and then just start wrapping. People who tie flies, if you got a fly tying vise and a bobbin, it'll make your life a lot easier. But just because you can make it with, just minimal material, just stuff you got in your boat lying around. So I usually get it started, get it all in place. And then from there, if I can come unattached from the glue, I usually just kind of finish this side up a little bit with that other bit of braid. And then from there, I just kind of set the excess braid over the top. And what I'm going to end up doing is I'm just going to be wrapping around that just so I can cut it off and it'll stay in place. So I'm just going to go back all the way around. I like to go just a little bit under where the end of that bait keeper is, just so it doesn't, just to minimize the chances of it riding back on me. And at this point you can go ahead and cut that excess line off. Hopefully you've got sharper scissors than me. Oh wow, this is turning into a whole thing. That was a little bit more difficult than I needed to be. Get that pushed out of the way. Like I said, I'll finish wrapping it just till I'm right under that bait keeper, and then go back over it one more time all the way to the top. Like I said, a fly tying vise and a bobbin will make this go a lot easier. So to finish it off, what you're gonna do is just take that little bit of string, give it a half turn, and then another half turn if I can get it. So half turn, another half turn, and then push it over. Push that loop over the hook. Just makes a little knot, and then I'm going to do it again. So hold the two lines in place, one half turn, so one full turn, two half turns, and then you just kind of roll it over the hook eye, put it on the string where you want it, and then just tighten her down and it'll do its thing. And then from here you can cut that line off. Maybe we'll try some sharper scissors this time. Let's see that, we'll see. And then that line should stay in place, but I'm gonna go ahead and add some more glue to it either way. Just to kind of keep everything in place. Try not to add too much. And I just kind of wipe it with my fingers just to kind of get it all in those threads, to kind of get everything glued up. Which will kind of hold all that stuff in place. So this is what the finished product's going to look like. Got the weed guard little piece right here that's just wrapped around with the braid. A little bit of super glue to hold it in. And then like I said, I can put my frog on there, my horny toad, buzz toad, whatever you want to throw on there, and then I don't have to worry about it coming back down because I've got that little keeper right there. Same thing on the drop shot hook, just a little bit smaller. Hard to see, but it's really nice because it keeps it in place. And you want something like this material, this weed guard material. It's nice and rigid, but it's also soft enough so that way it's gonna stay in place, hold your bait in place, but not excessively rip it. And that's about all. Hopefully you guys learned something from this, learn how to do it with some just easy stuff you have laying around.